you got to do is trust in him. All you got to do is believe in him. All you got to do is need him, need him, need him. He'll be there. All you got to do is trust in him. All you got to do is believe in him. All you got to do is need him. All you got to do is be.
Show of hands, how many people know that the Lord is a Macarena? Like a kid in a candy store, he be back again in your life when the feeling is right in the heat of the night. So if you call him, he will come to ya, and like a quick, you better believe that he's a comforter to redeem ya, till he bring ya to his kingdom, till he sees all fit for the Father in his kingdom. So to then you feeling again, you kneeling again, appealing again, need another healing again. The feelings within, and you like, who can I call? You never went to the Father, and the Son was like, you can't call. Intercess for the prayers of saints, giving them things, faith to sow. He bless your soul. Can't nobody do you like Jesus, and this you know. He'll be there even when heaven and earth is so. Come on.
The womb, they need their mother for the nourishment and loving they won't get from another. Like we ask God, give us this day our daily bread. Cause spiritually and physically, yo, we need to be fed. Call on God in the morning, at noon, even at night. He will answer your call if you walk in the right. Like King Hezekiah was about to die, so we cried unto the Lord and he heard his cry. He said, I beseech thee, O Lord my God, how I walk before thee in truth and with a perfect heart. The Lord said, I heard that prayer and seen that tears, and I will add into thy life 15 years. So if you need him, call him, trust him and believe. He will keep you if you love him and obey him. He's my deliverer and can't nobody do it better. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. All you got to do is try to do. All you got to do. All you gotta do. All you got to do. All you gotta do. All you got to do. He'll be there. All you got to do. All you gotta do. All you got to do. All you got to do. All you got to do is he'll be there.
Unto us a child is born, a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Come meet the only Savior that I know. You know, the one healed the sick, raised the dead, and walked with your disciples. Need help to relieve your pain? Do what I do, pray to the Father in Jesus' name. Face Jerusalem, the city of the great King, get down on your knees and pray without ceasing. Prayer changes things. You better know where your healing is. Maybe your arms and prayers will come up before God like Cornelius. Prayer works, I prefer meditation. I feel God gets more information on how to solve my situation. You got to know God can deliver me on the brink of death in a correctional facility. He'll be there.
All right, grace and peace, everybody.
Grace and peace.
It's good to see y'all. Good to be seen. So tonight is, if I'm not mistaken, the second Sabbath of the 9th month. And the scripture that what we're going to be covering tonight is born in sin and shaped in iniquity is the flesh, the image and likeness of Yah is the spirit. So we're going to open this up in Psalms chapter 11. Psalms 11. Psalms chapter 11. Psalms 11. And these lessons are being recorded and will be posted on YouTube. So if you go to Google, you can Google New Yarusalem, Kingdom of Yah, and you will be able to see our lessons as we post them, our videos. Or you can go straight to YouTube itself and do a search for New Yarusalem, Kingdom of Yah, and you'll see all the lessons that pertain to that particular site. All right, so let us open up with Psalms chapter 11. Everybody got it? All right, so you can repeat after me. In Yahuwah put I my trust.
In Yahuwah put I my trust.
How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain?
How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain?
For lo, the wicked bend their bow.
For lo, the wicked bend their bow.
They make ready their arrow upon the string.
They make ready their arrow upon the string.
That they may in darkness shoot at the upright in heart.
That they may in darkness shoot at the upright in heart.
If the fountains be destroyed, what can the righteous do?
If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do?
Yahuwah is his holy temple.
Yahuwah is his holy temple.
Yahuwah's throne is in heaven.
Yahuwah's throne is in heaven.
His eyes behold.
His eyes behold.
His eyelids try the children of men.
His eyelids try the children of men.
Yahuwah trieth the righteous.
Yahuwah trieth the righteous.
But the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth.
But the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth.
Upon the wicked he shall rain snares.
Upon the wicked he shall rain snares.
Fire and brimstone and horrible tempest.
Fire and brimstone and in horrible tempest.
This shall be the portion of their cup.
This shall be the portion of their cup.
For the righteous of Yahuwah loveth righteousness.
For the righteous of Yahuwah loveth righteousness.
His countenance doeth behold the upright.
His countenance doeth behold the upright.
May the Most High add a blessing to the reading and doing of his word, so be it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So the understanding of this psalm, the more that you flee or vacate the fleshly nature, leave it behind, the more righteous you become. The more connected to the Creator you become. And so when you flee these things, then you flee iniquity, which is within the flesh. You flee sin and death. So if you flee iniquity, sin, and death, the only thing that's left is what? Eternal life. Right?
Right.
So you have to have faith to believe in. As we always know, what holds up faith is obedience and love. It's just like a bicycle, right? Mm-hmm. A bicycle had two tires. Mm-hmm. Look at faith being one. Look at obedience being a tire, and look at love being a tire, and look at faith as being a frame. Okay? Mm-hmm. Actually, I got it backwards. Love is the frame, right? But obedience and faith hold it up.
Those are the wheels.
Those are the wheels. So obedience and faith are the wheels, and love is the frame, right? Because love is what we want to have. But you got to know how to show the evidence and the certifications of love. And that's through obedience, and that's through faith, right? The foundation of love. So let's go and dive right in. Let's go right to Psalms chapter 51. Psalms 51. Psalm 51, and we're going to read verse 1 through 19. Psalm 51, 1 through 19. And we're looking at, cleanse me from being born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Psalms 19, cleanse me from being born in sin and shaped in iniquity. All right, so let's take a look at that. Let's go pick it up at verse 1. And Brother Yahuda, you can go ahead and lead us off.
Have mercy upon me, O El Yah, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions.
Mm-hmm.
Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin.
He said, wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. Because guess what? The flesh is born in what? Sin and shaped in what?
Iniquity.
Verse 3.
For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me.
So he acknowledged that is ever before him. What's ever before him?
The flesh.
Exactly. The flesh is ever before him. You can't escape it. It's right there. Right? Verse 4.
Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mayest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me.
So he was shaped in iniquity, and he was conceived in sin, because the punishment that was handed out to Eve and through all women is the bearing of the flesh through conception, through pain. Right? Right? That's what we read in Genesis, right?
That's right.
All right, verse 6.
Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom.
So it says, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden parts thou make me to know wisdom. So through the inward parts is how you going to clean from the inside out. Right? That's how this flesh going to be reconciled. Verse 7.
Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow.
Mm-hmm.
Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities.
Mm-hmm.
Create in me a clean heart, O El-Yah, and renew a right spirit within me.
So create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me. Right? That's your conscience. Change the conscience. Go ahead. Verse 11.
Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me.
Mm-hmm.
Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit.
Mm-hmm. So restore unto me thy joy and salvation. Give me back the spirit that I once had. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Then I will teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee.
So unless you had a spirit, you can't teach or convert anybody. As much as we like to believe, unless you get the spirit of the Creator in you that then reconciles your own nature, you can't teach nothing. Go ahead.
Deliver me from blood guiltness, O El-Yah, thou El-Yah of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness.
It says, deliver me from blood guiltiness, right? What is blood guiltiness? How is that? What is that? Blood guiltiness is the fact that you got flesh on you because you was guilty of sin in the beginning. Deliver me from the flesh. That's what he's really saying. Blood guiltiness is the flesh itself. The fact that you got this flesh means that the whole creation is guilty. Go ahead. Verse what?
15.
Go ahead.
O Yahuwah, open thou lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise.
Mm-hmm.
For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offerings. The sacrifices of El-Yah are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O El-Yah, thou wilt not despise.
Mm-hmm.
Do good in thy pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
of Yarusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offerings and whole burnt offerings. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar.
Right. So in verse 17 it says, the sacrifices of El-Yah are a broken spirit, right, and a broken contrite heart. Because when you broken, then you can be taught. But as long as you high and mighty, you can't be taught nothing. So realize that when we go through things, it's to get us to a point where we can receive. So that knowledge and truth and righteousness can penetrate. But when you high and mighty, everything is good, guess what? You're not hearing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a proven fact.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now when you can be penetrated to hear, the bullock represents you, your conscience. Okay? That's what that's the sacrifice is going to be on the altar at that point. All right, let's go to Job chapter 31. Job 31. Job 31. We're going to read verse 1 through 8 and 23 through 33. And we're looking at the prayer of Job to the Most High to consume the curse of Adam in him. Verse 1, Job chapter 31. Go ahead, Sister Rachel.
I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid?
Mm-hmm.
For what portion of
L, just say L.
L
Mm-hmm.
is there from above? And what inheritance of the Almighty from on high?
So basically what he's saying is when I look at things with my eyes, what portion is that from above? Where does that come from? Verse 3.
Is not destruction to the wicked and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity?
So it's not destruction, which is through the flesh, which is how we perceive things. Is that not the portion of the workers of iniquity? Yes, it is. Verse 4.
Does not he see my ways and count all my steps?
All right. So we within Job chapter 31, and we on verse 4. For those that just coming in, we on Job chapter 31 and verse 4. All right. So it says in verse 4, doeth not he see my ways and count all my steps, right? So everything that you're doing according to the flesh, or even in the spirit, the Most High sees. Verse 5.
If I have walked with vanity, or my foot hath taken to sleep, let me be weighed in even balance, and L will know my integrity.
And so he's saying, look, if I walk according to the flesh, let the Most High judge me and see what I'm doing. Verse 7.
If my steps have turned out of the way, and my heart walks after my eyes, and if any blot hath cleaved to my hand, then let me sow, let another eat, yea, let my offspring be rooted out.
All right. So he said, if my steps have turned out of the way, and my heart walk after mine own eyes, then basically let me receive my punishment. That's man all day. He walk after his own way and go after what he see and feel, don't he?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Skip down to verse 23.
For destruction from El was a terror to me, and by reason of his kindness, I could not endure.
So Job is reflecting. He's saying, look, the destruction of El is a terror to me because he's going through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I can't endure it. Verse 24.
If I have made gold my hope, or have sped to refine gold, thou art my confidence. If I rejected because my wealth was great, and because my hand has gotten much.
Mm-hmm.
If I beheld the sun when it shines, or the moon walking in brightness,
Mm-hmm.
and my heart hath been secretly enticed, or my mouth hath kissed my hand.
Mm-hmm.
This also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge.
Mm-hmm.
For I should have denied El that is above.
So what he's saying is, look, I'm going through this stuff, Most High. whatever it is you putting on me, but if I done something according to the flesh, then continue to purge me. That's some strength, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Go ahead.
29.
Mm-hmm.
If I rejoice at the destruction of him that hated me, or lifted up myself from evil, found him. Neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul.
Mm-hmm. So neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul. Meaning that all those that did something wrong, he has never wished no ill to them. Okay? Go ahead, verse 31.
If the band of my tent said not, oh, there is one who is not satisfied with his provision.
Mm-hmm.
The stranger did not lodge in the street and open my doors to the traveler.
Mm-hmm.
If I cover my transgressions like a common man, hiding my iniquity in my bosom.
So basically, if he covered his iniquity, if he hide all of these things from the Most High, then continue to purge me. Now, oftentimes we cover our own sins. We don't want to let them be known. We don't want to even let them be known to our own conscience. We still want to do it and make it right, don't we? Right?
Yeah.
So what we got to do is uncover it, let it be exposed, even in your own conscience, lift it up so it can be taken out the way. Now, let's go to Genesis chapter 3, and let's go look at Adam and Eve. And let's go look at how they tried to cover their wickedness by hiding. And since they tried to cover their wickedness, the Most High went on ahead and finished it and covered their sin with the flesh. Genesis chapter 3. And we're going to go and read 13 through 24. Genesis 3. And we're going to read 13 through 24. And that's going to be on Brother Barnabas. Genesis chapter 3, 13 through 24. And we're looking at Adam's sin covered by the flesh as a law, a curse, and a punishment. So understand, what we get ready to read is really the covenant to the flesh, which was weak through the flesh, because the fleshly man would not learn from the punishment. Instead, he gloats in the flesh, don't he?
Yes, he does.
All day long, making sin a delicacy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Still today. Genesis 3. We're going to pick up at verse 13. Brother Barnabas, when you got it, go right ahead.
And the Most High said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
All right. First thing she did was she made an excuse. The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. The serpent came and told her, right? Well, he lied to her. He told her the truth and he lied to her, but she already had instructions from the Creator. What she did was succumb to what the serpent told her. It's just like if I tell my child, don't do this, right? And you go ahead and do it. Who is at fault? You. Verse 14.
And the Most High said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Now, the Most High cursed the serpent to the ground and said he was going to slither on his belly, and dust was going to be his meat. And to this day, a symbol of this curse, we can still see today when you see a serpent, when you see a snake, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Verse 15.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Mm-hmm. So he put a difference. He put a controversy between y'all two. Okay.
He say a hate.
Yeah, kind of a hate, a difference, a controversy, a natural, according to the flesh, a natural division. Okay.
Natural distrust.
Right, because remember, before the fall, every beast was going to be subject to his creation, right?
That's right. That's right.
But right now, this serpent is going to crawl, ain't going to be as a beast of the field. But guess what? He put enmity instead of having preeminence over this serpent. He put enmity, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you understanding that in the beginning, the purpose of the creation is altered because of sin. Verse 15, I think. 16, go ahead.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
So now we know for a fact that verse 16 only got added because of what? Sin. It was her punishment, right? So unto the woman her punishment is pain, and pain she gonna conceive, right? And bring forth children. So apparently she wasn't supposed to conceive in pain and wasn't supposed to bring forth children in this matter, right?
Right.
And it says, and thou desire shall be to thy husband. So if that's a curse, that means that wasn't supposed to be her desire in the beginning, right? Her desire was supposed to be to the Creator, right? First of all, if we was in the beginning, the whole desire probably to even have sexual relations probably wouldn't even be there.
No.
Okay? It was something totally different, right? We was going to be walking one accord with one another because guess what? Both the spirit of male and female, the combining of those two is what the Most High is. They both come from him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife.
So now he said, look, Adam, because you didn't listen to the voice of your wife and you didn't listen to me, go ahead.
And has eaten of the tree.
And has eaten of the tree that I told you not to eat from. Go ahead.
Of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
So in sorrow, the ground is cursed. In sorrow, that means in labor. So you eat of the ground all the days of your life. You wasn't gonna have to labor. All you was gonna have to do is speak, and it was gonna be so. You was gonna do the same thing the Most High did. Plant seed through your spirit, and it was gonna bring forth into what we see as reality on this planet. Because the planet was given to you in the beginning, being children of the Creator. It was given to you to rule over it just as the Creator, being children of the Creator. Go right here, verse 18.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
Now, thorns and thistles is going to be to thee. That means you're going to have both. The field represent both the literal field outside that you put seeds in, literally physically now because of sin, and it also represent the seed that you put in the woman, because you wasn't going to have to do that either. Okay? Thorns and thistles come forth through the seed of a woman, and thorns and thistles come through the seeds you put in the ground. Right? That means now you're going to have to labor, and now you're going to have to make these thorns and thistles, if it's possible, into wheat. Right?
That's right.
That means you're going to have to weed the garden out.
That's right.
Whether it be the children that you come forth out of the womb of a woman, or whether it be within your own natural garden. Because if you plant a garden out there, and if you don't touch it, weeds going to come through and choke out everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay?
And if you don't weed out them children from the fleshly nature, they're going to become weeds, and they're going to be overtaken by weeds, and we're going to have destruction, which we have today. Right?
That's right.
We at verse what?
19.
Hey, y'all got this. Quiet.
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
So now, since you want to take on flesh, now I'm going to give you the nature of the flesh. Okay? So now, even though I raised you out of the ground, like in the beginning, he took the man's spirit from the earth. But now he getting ready to put some flesh on this man. So now he gonna fall from his bright nature of being spiritual to coming into carnality, to coming into death. Because he told him, the day that you eat this is the day that you're going to die. So the day that you eat it, the day you're going to become fleshly, because you're going to be, because that's what's going to cause, that's where that disobedience falls in. When you're disobedient, you got to be punished. Okay? Verse 20.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living.
So now she's going to be the mother of all living fleshly beings. Right? This chapter 3 lets you know that none of this wasn't supposed to be. The creation wasn't about you having sexual relations with a woman. It wasn't about you working, and it wasn't about you producing children the way you produce today, right? It wasn't about man's system, and it wasn't about the world. But the world got introduced right here at the fall of man. The earth was introduced prior to that. That was a creation of the Creator. The world is a spawn of sin itself. So that's why the scripture says, he that is a lover of the flesh cannot be the lover of the Most High. Can't love the Most High. Right?
Right.
Where we at, verse what?
21.
21? Go ahead.
Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Most High make coats of skins and clothe them.
So now, this is not no animal that he killed. This is you get your layers of skin that you got on your body. This is why you got them on your fleshly body. Because now through conception, you're going to receive all this on your physical body. Through conception, as a result of sin. This was not supposed to happen. It is clear this is a punishment, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the Most High said, behold, the man is become one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
What this means is, look, now the man, he know good and evil. He know corruption and incorruption, right? Lest he take hold of the tree of life, which is righteousness. If he don't take hold of that, he's going to continue to die. He's going to take part in the lower self. But if he take hold of the tree of righteousness, he's going to live forever. Right? Oh yeah, verse what?
23.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the Most High sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to the ground from whence he was taken.
So now,
to till the ground from which he was taken.
He was kicked out the garden, meaning being kicked out of the kingdom. The garden represented the kingdom. Mm-hmm. The garden actually, although it was in one portion of the world, if man continued to be righteous, the garden would have been the whole creation of the earth. Mm-hmm. Right? The earth itself was the garden. Right? Mm-hmm. But since man got kicked out, the garden that man was in, that don't exist no more. Why? You look at it. Where is it at?
They've been looking for it.
Right. It don't exist no more. Because man's nature, the fleshly nature, has consumed it. It's gone. But as you return back to righteousness, then the garden will appear. Where we at? Verse what?
24.
Go ahead.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east the Garden of Eden, cherubims, and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
All right, so he put this flaming sword, right? Right, which is the word, which the Messiah spoke of, right, in the New Testament. So the word is a double-edged sword. It separates the flesh from the Spirit. Because you can't go back into the garden and you can't go into the kingdom unless the flesh is separated from the Spirit, right? Which once the flesh is separated from the Spirit, now as your spirit inhabit this fleshly body, then you can bring it under subjection to the Spirit. But as long as the separation is not seen, long as the cords are not cut that tie the flesh to the Spirit, the body can't be reconciled. It cannot be transformed. It cannot be translated. It's only when the cords of the flesh is separated when that can take place. Now, let's keep going. Let's go to Psalms 31. Psalms chapter 31. Psalms 31. And we're going to read verse 10 through 16. And we're looking at the flesh is iniquity that consumes us. And that's on Sister Messiyah. Psalms 31, 10 through 16. The flesh is iniquity that consumes us. We're going to look at how this very flesh is iniquity. We saw how we received it because of sin. We read about how Job recognized we're born in sin and shaped in iniquity from the womb of his mother. So let's continue to look at that. Let's go to Psalm 31 and let's read 10 through 16.
For my life is spent with grief and my years with sighing. My strength faileth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed.
He said, my strength faileth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed. Man, think about it. In your youth, you strong. You don't think nothing can touch you. But as life continues to go through its circle or its road, and as your flesh, as you continue to identify with the flesh, what happens to the flesh? It fails. It fails every time, right? Your strength turns into weakness, don't it? Your bones get brittle, don't it? Right? Verse 11.
I was a reproach among all mine enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to mine acquaintance. They that did see me without fled from me. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel.
So when you fall and when you get old, you get forgotten, don't you? What old people, they want to put them in a nursing home and forget about them, right? Verse 13.
For I heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life.
So it says, for I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. Meaning, it's on the side of those that slander, and it's on the side of those that get slandered against. Fear. What fear? Fear of death. Because everybody's fear is what? They know that they're going to leave this body. When I don't care what somebody tell you in this world, talking about they don't fear death or this or that, they know that it's looming. It's something that they don't understand or know yet. But when they meet it, they'll know it then.
And people are always afraid of the unknown.
Exactly. Where we at, verse what?
14. But I trusted in thee, O Yahuwah. I said, thou art my El Yah. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies, and from them that persecute me.
Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and them that persecute me. That's both external and internal. The enemies and those that persecute you is both those external, meaning somebody else that's not righteous, and the unrighteousness is within you. The fleshly nature is within you. You got to be delivered from, right? Go ahead. Where you at?
Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake.
So we save through the deliverance from iniquity and sin. Now let's keep going. Let's go to Psalm 39. Psalm 39. Sister L, you back?
Yes.
Psalms 39. Can you read verse 10 through 13, we looking at how the flesh is our punishment given for correction if we see it as correction. See, what we just read in Genesis chapter 3, most people have never paid attention to that it was given to as a punishment, as a means for you to be corrected. Most people don't understand that. Matter of fact, you hear most say that, oh, the flesh is our glory. We giving this and all of that. And, well, when you understand the reason why you got this flesh, then you understand that it's not a glory. As long as you glory in the flesh, you cannot be the child of the Creator. Right? So we're going to read Psalms 39, 10 through 13.
Remove thy stroke away from me. I am consumed by the blow of thine hand. When thou with rebukes dost correct man for iniquity, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth. Surely every man is vanity, Selah. Hear my prayer, O Yahuwah, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears, for I am a stranger with thee, and a sojourner, as all my fathers were. O spare me, that I may recover strength before I go hence and be no more.
All right, let's look at that. Verse 10, it says, remove thy stroke away from me. What stroke did he put on all flesh? Death, right? Because of iniquity, which now you receive that because of sin. You receive this flesh, which is death. That's the stroke, right?
I have a question.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
The wages of sin is death. So what about the animals? Would they have lived?
Well, the animals, yeah, everything would, because of man's lower nature, everything is cast down. Mm-hmm. So it says, remove thy stroke away from me. I am consumed by the blow of thy hand. That's a good question, but yeah, that's true. It's because of man's nature. Because think about it. He gave preeminence to man over everything, right? But if man has lost preeminence, he lost the ability to control even the life of the animals. Therefore, everything is acting on a lower nature. That's why even animals go after, and some are carnivores and some are plant eaters, right? But that's why they take on that lower nature too, because they going after their master, even though now the master don't have control over them, right?
Wow.
So it says, remove the stroke away from me, because he gave everything over to the earth, to man. It said, I am consumed by the blow of thine hand. Meaning he consumed by the flesh that he put on him, right? It says, when thou with rebukes doeth correct man for iniquity, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth. Meaning, man glorify in the flesh all day long, whether it's a handsome man or a beautiful woman, right? Or whether it's a man that's got a body of Adonis, or the woman got to have a body of a woman, right? Venus. So it all in the flesh. Eventually, it all falls. I don't care how it is when they 20 and 30 or even 40. Eventually,
It's gonna fall.
yeah. Eventually, the things that perk up turn to teardrops.
That's right.
Right? And eventually, the stoutness of the rump turns to flab too, right?
That's right.
In the flesh. So why we glorying in this flesh and why we putting so much stock in it? That's why it falls so quick.
Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be.
Right. Or the man, now he got a mental problem now, because he realizing that he can't be as virile as he once was. Right?
That's right.
So now they got all kind of medications to make the fleshly man back to being a young man, but it's artificial.
Because that'll kill you.
Right. So now, but what you don't know, oh vain man, is your healing is within the herbs. Right? And when I say man, I'm saying male and female. When you hear me say man, I'm not just talking about the male side. I'm talking about the female side, because female sides are men too. It's just the
Because
female
women are
side.
now getting Botox
Yeah.
in their face,
And they getting
trying to
right.
look young.
And then they getting all that stuff and injections into the breasts and all that kind of stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So vanity, 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 saith the preacher. All is vanity, right? So it says in verse 11, when thou with rebukes doeth correct man for iniquity, which is all the things we talking about, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth. Surely every man is vanity, Selah. That's what we just talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 12, it says, hear my prayer, O Yahweh, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears, meaning that continue to correct me when I need it. For I am a stranger with thee, and a sojourner as all my fathers were, meaning that I'm just as fleshly as all my fathers were. I'm a stranger when it comes to the spirit. Correct me so I can no longer be a stranger, but be a child of you. That's what it's really saying. Verse 13. It said, oh, spare me. That's how you know it's saying that. Oh, spare me that I may recover strength. That means give me back. Strength is in the spirit. Give me back the strength. I can show you. You can take a person all day long that has physical strength, right? And he can show his strength up to a certain point. But give me a person with the mental strength to endure. See, the one with the physical strength is going to be for a time of that physical body. And once that physical body is done, it's done. But one that's mentally tough, they got the ability to even make the weakest body strong. There's been reports to show that when a car or something fell on a baby, the mother went to go lift it up and he's not even taking thought of what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it say, oh, spare me that I may recover strength before I go hence, meaning before I leave and be no more, meaning recover me and take me back to the spirit before I just continually just get wrapped up and fall in this flesh. All right? Now let's keep going. Let's go to Psalm 53. Psalm 53. Psalm 53. We're going to read 1 through 6. Psalm 53, 1 through 6. Is Sister Bina with you, Sister Elubeth?
Yes. Yes.
All right, Sister Bina, that's on you. Read Psalms 53, 1 through 6, and we're looking at the hope is for all the creation to learn from being punished with the flesh. See, this is the thing. Oftentimes, we stand back and look at others and say, this person like this person like that, they wrong, they this, they that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you need to stand off, step aside a little bit from that, and just continue to purge yourself and let yourself be an example of how what you saying this person is not. And let yourself be the example to be what that person should be. Right? That's what you do.
Check them up in thine own eye.
Exactly. Check them up in your own eye, because all the time it's easy for us to pull out, look at, and identify the motive of somebody else. That's very easy. All right. Psalms 53, let's read 1 through 6.
The fool hath said in his heart, there is no Yahuwah. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good.
There is none that doeth good, according to the flesh, right? They all corrupt. So, oh, Israel, or those black Hebrew Israelites, or whatever you want to call yourself, or y'all Muslims, or whatever you want to say you are according to the flesh, white man, black man, Chinese man, whoever you are, according to the flesh, it say, there is none that doeth good, according to the flesh. Verse 2.
Darwinian.
Right.
Yahuwah looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand, that did seek Yahuwah.
So he looking down upon all the sons of men. The sons of men are those that come through the womb of a woman. I don't care what flesh you come through. He looking down to see what you made of. Okay. Verse 3.
Every one of them is gone back. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one.
That's absolute. No, not one that doeth good when you identify with the flesh. None. None whatsoever. None. None that doeth good. Because the flesh is where we separated at, for one. And when the kingdom comes, there's not going to be a separation on the flesh. Even if somebody look different or have a different complexion, there is not going to be any difference within your nature, because you're going to understand the spirit that compels everything. All right, where we at? Verse what?
Or
Verse 4. Go ahead.
have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon Yahuwah.
All right, it says, have the workers of iniquity no knowledge. Now, who are the workers of iniquity?
Flesh. Yes, sir.
All flesh are the workers of iniquity, right? Who eat up my people as they eat up bread. Now, who are the people of the Most High? What are they? Spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does not your fleshly nature eat up your own spirit? Hasn't it done so in the past?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're trying to stop now, right? So the people of the Most High is the spiritual people, but the flesh consume it. So when you see the flesh rearing his ugly head, running through and opening up your mouth to speak something out, make sure you check it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's true.
Make sure you check it.
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes the words we speak is a product of our vanity. And the vanity comes from what? The fleshly nature. So make sure whenever you utter words, it is not based upon your own conception or preconceived notion as it relates to the flesh. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. What we
Verse 5.
mm-hmm.
There were they in great fear, where no fear was not. For Yahuwah hath scattered the bones of him that encamped against thee. Thou hast put them to shame, because Yahuwah hath despised them.
Yahuwah despised the fleshly nature. Therefore, the bones of all those that's fleshly is buried in the ground. Okay? They can't add 1 cubit to their height. They can't make a change in their physical composure. Neither can they heal themselves, because they don't have the spirit of the Creator. Because guess what heals the infirmity of your body? The spirit. And we're going to read that eventually. I don't know if we're going to get to that point tonight, but we will read that within this lesson. The spirit, and he gave you and so if you got the spirit, that means you got the faith and you got the obedience. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the love. So therefore you do what's pleasing to the Creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get back into your higher self and get out of this lower self and stop consuming death, both on a physical level and on a spiritual level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we expect to get life? Why do we expect the flesh not to fall or to not to decay when all we consume is death, even on the physical level? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not the same when we want to have eternal life? Do not we consume spiritually the things that are spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
expecting eternal life?
Mm-hmm.
So how is it different in the flesh? Shouldn't be different. Pick it up in verse 6.
Oh, that the salvation of Yarusalem will come out of Zion. When the Most High bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Yarusalem shall be glad.
So when he bringeth back the captivity of his people, and his people again are those that are spiritual. When he take away that captivity, meaning that the flesh is separated from the spirit, and this old vain man is brought down low so the spirit can be raised above, right? Mariah, get out of here. Then that's when change takes place. That's when you can be reconciled. That's when this body can go through its change. So when we were made, when Adam and Eve were first made, the body that they had was the same kind of body that the Messiah was resurrected with, which was a celestial body. Okay? The terrestrial body is the fleshly body. And y'all know the scripture that says, if we have borne the image of the terrestrial, we shall also bear the image of the celestial. The image of the celestial body is the spirit, which is the image and likeness of the Creator. Okay? The fleshly body mimics the spirit body anyway. But one's got to decrease so the other can increase. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16. Proverbs 16. And we're going to read verse 1 through 7. And we're looking at the Most High's punishment is for the purpose of correction. This is the real root of the problem of man. We operate outside the purpose of the Creator. We even don't receive the correction, the punishment within the right purpose. For if we did, Yarusalem, when they was making all them sacrifices of them animals, would have stopped and not had to do all them sacrifices because they stopped from sinning. Mm-hmm. But it's evident that they didn't. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we at Proverbs chapter 16. We're going to read verse 1 through 7. That's going to be on Brother Yahuda. Once everybody get there. Proverbs 16, 1 through 7.
The preparations of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from Yahuwah.
So the preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from Yahuwah. So the heart is prepared by Yahuwah, the Creator. And the tongue is prepared by Yahuwah, the Creator. When that particular man, that creation, is walking in alignment with the Creator. If he walking after their own imagination, the fleshly heart, then he got a fleshly heart, and the words that he speaks is fleshly. Mm-hmm. Verse 2.
All the ways of man are clean in his own eyes, but Yahuwah weigheth the spirit.
That's so true. All the ways of man is clean in his own eyes. You go out there in the world, you start telling man this, and he'll tell you, look, no, it's like this. Right? There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? The man goes through his thing, and he'll tell you what he perceives in his own eyes is clean to him.
They will tell you, I think God meant, which is
right
in itself, and you start off in abomination.
And then they start speaking for God, speaking right. For the Most High. Well, Most High meant this, or the Most High meant that, or the Most High wouldn't do this, or the Most High wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. They do that when they walk in this way. He clean in his own eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Verse 3.
Commit thy works unto Yahuwah, and thy thoughts shall be established.
If you commit your works to Yahuwah, then your thoughts will be established. Meaning now you're going to have the same thoughts that he gives to his children, which are spiritual. Right? Which is the thoughts he has. You're going to stop saying what this is, what that is, and you're going to start doing the will of the Creator. That's what you're going to do. Because then you're going to learn that the words we speak is limited. You really can't express the Spirit correctly in the words that we speak. Okay? We do our best. Now, I will say as we continue to grow and we learn, there will be one language restored. But again, there's a diversity of language for punishment. But what's the reason? Why is it that we have diversity of language? At the Tower of Babel, the Most High gave it, right? Mm-hmm. Because if he didn't, man would have destroyed itself quicker than he doing it now. Mm-hmm. And we was all on one accord. Mm-hmm. So because he made the separations of the language, now you don't understand each other. Even though the destruction is still coming, it's not as amped up as it would have been. Because the destruction could have been 3,000 years ago if we was all speaking the same language and understood each other.
So it was almost an additional punishment.
It was an additional punishment, but actually also, along with it being additional punishment, it was also given so that there would be more children to receive the Spirit. Because just think about it, if it was cut off 3,000 years ago, we wouldn't even be here. We would never exist. So at the same time it was a punishment, it also was given in hope for man's correction, for all those that would come would learn. Yeah.
So it actually is seen as a stopgap measure.
Yeah. Yeah. But we at verse what?
Verse 4.
Verse 4, go ahead.
Yahuwah hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil.
So that's go back what you was talking about, Brother Brian. He even made the wicked for the day of evil, meaning now he has prolonged it. So when the day of evil is the day of destruction. Understand, evil and destruction means the same thing scripturally. So when you see evil, that's destruction. So the day of destruction is the day when the Most High brings this thing to a close.
For each individual or for everybody.
It's going to be, the individual is working on himself. So that day is within you when you stop doing the destructive measures. He's giving you time to get yourself together. But it's going to be a cutoff point. There's going to be a cutoff point. And that cutoff point is the day that he say, look, that's it. Verse 5.
Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Most High.
Everybody that is proud in heart. I want you to understand that, look at that, and work on the pride within yourself. Everybody that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahuwah. Okay? Go ahead.
To Yahuwah. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished.
Even though he's saying, look, they got these proud hearts and they all come together in pride, which is though hand join in hand, they should not be unpunished. Every country, every nation, every city, every state of man on all levels is proud. Matter of fact, you go watch a football game and they argue with somebody, they proud because this team won. Pride is in all levels and we need to be cleansed from it. Okay? One person get this degree, he think he better than the next person. Right? One person get this knowledge and he think he better than the next person. Right? One person wear these kind of clothes, he think he better than that person. Or this other person think he eating this kind of food that's better, and he think he better than that person. But guess what we know about pride? Pride comes before what?
Fall.
A fall. Exactly. But we at verse what? 6?
Yep.
Go ahead.
By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged. And by the fear of Yahuwah, men depart from evil.
It say, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged. Mercy and truth take you out of iniquity, right? And by the fear of Yahuwah, men depart from evil. See, you gotta get some fear first to lead this fleshly nature, to lead destruction. Now, once you lead destruction, you don't need the fear no more because now you're gonna take on the nature of the Creator. But fear got to be there for some. It's got to be there. Just like when you discipline your child, the first thing that when you come with that belt, they need to be fearing that belt, and they need to fear your voice when you say stop. Right? Now, once they start doing the things is right, it's no reason for them to fear.
There's no belt.
Yeah, ain't no belt, ain't no reason to fear, ain't none of that. Right?
That's right.
But it's a purpose for fear in the beginning of it all, because that's what's going to transition you out of this beastly, fleshly nature into a spirit nature. Okay? Verse 7.
When a man's ways please Yahuwah, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
So when you please the Creator, even the enemy is going to be at peace with you. Those is enemies in the flesh. They still may be an enemy, but they're going to be at peace. They may even start working to your advantage for you, even your enemies. So that tell you why you focused on your enemy. Who you supposed to be focused on?
The Most High.
The Most High. So if you got an enemy, it's something wrong. That's really working against you, and you don't have no peace with your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who you got to deal with? Get right. Yourself. You got to get yourself right with the Creator instead of focusing on, man, this man hate me for nothing, or this woman doing this to me for nothing, or this job doing this to me or doing that to me. No. Get yourself right with the Creator. There's some things you need to suffer some loss in. That's the cold truth. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22. Proverbs 22, and we're going to read verse 1 through 8. If man will only understand the correction of the Most High. That's what we're getting ready to look at. Proverbs 22 and 1 through 8. I want y'all to pause right quick. I got to take a brief intermission.
All right.
And we're going to start back up in a few minutes.
Not right. So I have an old cast for a while. So you have a tea.
All right. We back. Sorry about that. For all y'all YouTube listeners, stay tuned. Sometimes that happens, but we getting right back in order. We at Proverbs 22, and we're gonna read verses 1 through 8, and that is gonna be on Sister Rachel. Proverbs chapter 22, 1 through 8. Again, that's about if man would only understand the correction of the Most High. Proverbs 22, 1 through 8. And you can go right ahead.
A good thing is rather to be chosen than riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold.
All right, it says a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches and loving favor rather than silver and gold. So a good name is rather to be chosen, right? A name is chosen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than riches and everything else in this world, because the name's supposed to represent you. The name's supposed to represent you, right? Just as the name of the Messiah is Yahushua, what else they say? Yeshua. People say it differently, but it means the salvation of the Most High, right?
And obedience.
Right. And we can only be salvaged through obedience, right? It means obedience, ultimately. So, name have purpose. So when you operate within the purpose of the name that you give it, or that you choose, then you kind of start to correct yourself. Okay? Now, where we at? Verse what?
Verse 2.
Verse 2, go ahead.
The rich and poor meet together, Yahuwah is the maker of them all.
The rich and poor meet together. Yahuwah is the maker of them all. There's a purpose for the poor and there's a purpose for the rich. But in the kingdom of the Creator, they all equal out. Verse 3.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Go ahead.
By humility and the fear of Yahuwah are riches and honor and life.
It says by humility, right, and fear of Yahuwah are the riches and honor of life. By fear. So, because the flesh, it says by humility. Humility is dealing with that flesh. And the fear of Yahuwah are riches and honor of life. The riches and honor don't come through all the stuff they tell you today. When you're talking from a spiritual nature, this is a spiritual riches and honor. Come through humility and fear. Verse 5.
Thorns and snares are in the way of the forward.
Thorns and snares are in the way of the forward. Then we read in Genesis chapter 3 that thorns and thistles is going to come forth. Right, go ahead.
He that doeth keep his soul shall be far from them.
All right. He that doeth keep his soul far from them. Right?
Look at that.
All right. You keep your soul away from these thorns and thistles when you do right, don't you? Verse 6.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
If you train up the child the right way and the way he should go, when he get old, he will not depart from it. Now, he might go through his thing as he growing up, different, but he going to remember that foundation that you gave him. Go ahead.
The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
So it said, look at this. The rich ruleth over the poor. That's true in man's world, isn't it? And the borrower is servant to the lender. That's true in man's world too, ain't it? So why are we giving to man's world in the way that we are? Why we want to borrow? What's the first thing that the United States talking about doing when they raise the debt limit? What is it talking about doing? Borrowing more, right? But everybody's saying, getting mad, oh, how come that Congress won't just go ahead and just do that, right? It's just, man don't even know how to do things right himself. Go ahead, verse 8.
He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail.
He that soweth iniquity, right? Continue to sow iniquity shall reap vanity. Look at this. Do not we sow iniquity even in the flesh when we produce these physical children?
Yes.
And do not they become vain?
Yes.
Right? Unless we change when we have children and teach them the right way so that vanity don't come forward. And the rod of his anger shall not fail. Right? It won't fall. Because it's going to be the rod of the Most High's anger ain't going to fail. Right? Neither is the rod of the flesh going to fail. The rod of the flesh going to continue to punish itself despite itself. Because it's already within the DNA. Destruction and evil and death is already in the DNA of the flesh. You ain't get so unless you change, unless you transform that DNA, it's gonna continue, isn't it? All right, let's keep going. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3.
I was supposed to go to them. Oh, put it in.
Oh, that's right there. I'm going on way.
Me too.
Had to remember where I was at. All right, we're going to read Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Come on, man. And we're going to read 16 through 20. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, 16 through 20. And that is, what has become of man as a result of the fall? We're going to see what has become of this fleshly man because of the fall. Ecclesiastes 3:16 through 20. And that's going to be on Brother Barnabas. Once everybody get it. Ecclesiastes 3:16 through 20. All right.
And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
Mm-hmm.
I said in mine heart, Yah shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work.
All right, so the righteous and the wicked is present on the planet, and the Most High going to judge both of them, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he going to judge both the righteous and the wicked within oneself. 2. Go ahead.
I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that Yah might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
See, what he's saying is, hopefully the fleshly man will understand the punishment that come upon him, which is his flesh. They become his beast. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Every one thing befalleth them. As the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yeah, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity.
Wow. Exactly, right? That's true. The fleshly man don't have no preeminence over a beast.
Over a dog.
Over a dog or a cat or anything he think that a chicken, right? Mm-hmm. Just as he go out there and kill the chicken and eat him, that same fleshly man going to be in the ground one day, pushing up daisies, right?
And something going to be eating on him.
Right. He going to push up some daisies or some corn, and guess what the chicken going to eat? The corn that you pushing up.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's right.
So he become as a beast.
All is vanity.
All is vanity. He don't have no preeminence no more. The flesh don't have any preeminence. Go ahead, verse 20, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All go unto one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again.
Exactly. The animals go back, and the man go, don't it?
Yeah, because, if I may say so, just last week, I'm looking at my brother-in-law. Now he's dust.
Mm-hmm.
He got cremated.
Mm-hmm. He gone.
Mm-hmm. Went right back to the dust.
Right. Or even if he didn't get cremated, just like an animal, if they die and they get buried or they on the road. The same thing that happened to a man's physical body, if it fall, the same thing is going to happen to an animal's physical body. Right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, let's go to Genesis chapter 1. Because, see, we done fill out the preeminence. Remember, we just read that in verse 19, before we start going to Genesis, verse 19, for that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. So if the same thing happened to man, happened to beasts, how does man have preeminence?
He doesn't.
He doesn't have preeminence.
But by the Spirit.
Right. But according to what? If in this right here, as we looking at this, he don't have no preeminence over beasts, do it?
No.
Flesh
don't
do it. But let's go see what the purpose of the creation was for. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1. Let's see if in the creation the purpose was for man to have preeminence, which we should know. Y'all been studying here long enough, y'all know, but we're going to continue to read it. Genesis chapter 1, we're going to read verse 25 through 31. And that's going to be on Sister Messiyah. Genesis chapter 1, 25 through 31.
And Eliah made the beasts of the earth after their kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the ground after their kind. And Eliah saw that it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And Eliah said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth.
Now we seeing the purpose of the creation. This was the purpose of the creation of the children of the Most High. These weren't children of men. These were children of the Most High at this time. It's because they was going to be in the image and likeness of who?
The Most High.
If they was in the image and likeness of the Most High, they was children of who?
The Most High.
Right. And it says, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every cattle and over all the earth, right? And everything that creepeth upon the earth. That is preeminence. That's preeminence. But we just read in Ecclesiastes that man didn't have no preeminence over the beast, right?
Right.
Because guess what? He fell from this.
Right.
Read verse 27.
So Eliah created man in his image. In the image of Eliah created he him. Male and female created he him.
So both male and female is in the likeness of the Creator in the beginning, right? The male nature and the female nature by the Spirit is both the image of the Most High. Okay? Go ahead.
And Eliah blessed him, and Eliah said unto him, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth.
He was supposed to have preeminence over everything. Everything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto them, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. Right? Now, how was man supposed to replenish a lion being that he's supposed to speak more into existence? What did the Most High do? Plant seed and bring them forth. That's what this man being born in the image and likeness of the Most High was supposed to do too.
Right.
But this don't exist today. Man, they can't plant no seed and a lion come forth. Now, he trying in the laboratory to make and clone things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But it wasn't even supposed to be like that. We could speak it and it happened. Go ahead.
And Eliah said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food.
So, on the spirit body, the celestial body that we had, the herbs and the vegetation was supposed to be your food, for your consumption. But when we start falling on, we didn't eat, the consumption of meat didn't come until the fall of man's nature.
Who was you at 40 years ago when you could have brought this to us?
He was in doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't even there yet. But the spirit was there.
Right.
The Most High, the spirit it was there for us to see it. But it's right there, plain, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Go ahead.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to every creeping thing upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food, and it was so.
So he gave every green herb for food, and it was so, right? Mm-hmm. Even look at y'all, the controversy between Cain and Abel. It was regarding that Cain had
meat sacrifice.
No, Abel had a meat sacrifice, right?
And Cain
had a herb. But why did Abel have a meat sacrifice? It was after the fall, wasn't it?
Oh.
It was after the fall.
Wow.
Right?
Good.
After the fall. Then so man started taking on the fleshly, beastly nature after the fall.
And that's why one's sacrifice was accepted, and the other one wasn't.
And then within the sacrifice, the vanity and the jealousy of Cain came forward, because the flesh just breeds destruction. It breeds destruction. He starts to get jealous. That's true today. right?
Yeah.
Let somebody have something so-called better than somebody else. Do it breed destruction? Do it breed jealousy?
Yes, it does.
All day. Competition, jealousy, all day. Matter of fact, they tell you that's healthy. Healthy competition.
Right.
Right? Don't they?
Right.
The fleshly nature tell you that.
Yeah.
They promote it, right?
Right.
But so, this is the other thing. As we transition back into, see, we're not going back into, the kingdom not going back into where Yarusalem was.
Right.
It's going back to where Adam and Eve was created in the image and likeness of the Most High. That's what we're going back to. Okay? But all of these commandments, all of these feast days, all of these things are training tools to get us back there.
Mm-hmm.
So we must do those things to get us back there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Where we at? Verse what?
31.
Go ahead.
And Eliah saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now we understand the purpose and the preeminence that man had when he was in the image and likeness of the Creator. But now that you in the image of flesh, there is no preeminence between flesh and flesh. All is vanity. All come in and all gonna die.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Yeah. Now let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah chapter 51. And Sister L, you there?
Okay, just a minute.
All right.
You got it? Okay.
All right. Jeremiah chapter 51, and we're going to read verse 1 through 10. Jeremiah 51, 1 through 10, and we're looking at coming out of Babylon is coming out of the nature of man, meaning coming out of the fleshly nature. That's what coming out of Babylon really means. Okay? Jeremiah 51, we're going to read 1 through 10. So you can go right ahead when you're ready.
Thus said Yahuwah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind.
All right, hold it. Now, I'm gonna be pausing you probably every so often within these verses. So it say, thus saith Yahuwah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon. Meaning I will raise up against the flesh, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that raise up against me. Those that make they abode in the flesh, he gonna raise up against, right? He gonna consume. Verse 2.
And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about.
All right. So, said, I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her. Meaning, didn't he send prophets and apostles and the Messiyah, right?
Mm-hmm.
To empty the land of what? Wickedness. Empty Babylon, empty the fleshly nature of wickedness, right? For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Meaning, in the day of destruction, those that he sent against Babylon will come against it to rid it of his own iniquity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning come against that fleshly nature. Verse 3.
Let the archer bend his bow against him that lifts himself in his coat of mail. And spare ye not her young men, and destroy utterly all her hosts.
All right. It says, let the archer bend his bow against him that lifts himself in his coat of mail. Right? His coat of delivery, right? What's the coat of delivery of man? Flesh. So those that lift themselves up in the flesh, the archers, the army of the Creator, the apostles, the prophets, the Messiyah, the angels, all those that's a part of the army of the Most High, They're going to bend their bow against the fleshly man. Right? Verse 3.
Thus,
4. Yeah.
Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets.
Mm-hmm.
But Yasharel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his El Shaddai, Yahuwah of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Yasharel.
Mm-hmm.
Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah, vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
All right. He say, flee out of the midst of Babylon, meaning come out of the middle of the flesh. Get out of that, all that stuff that you made so high and mighty, or those things you adorn in the flesh. It said, deliver every man of his soul. Your soul can only be delivered when you come out that fleshly nature. He said, be not cut off in her iniquity. The fleshly nature is born in sin and Satan iniquity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't take part in the iniquity. Babylon represents the flesh. Don't take part in that. For this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance, because he's going to take vengeance on the flesh. He will render unto her a recompense, meaning death and destruction. Verse 7.
Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
Now,
Babylon
it say Babylon has been a cup, a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, right? The flesh. Even though the flesh think his stuff don't stink, you still sitting in the hand of Creator.
Mm-hmm.
That made all the earth drunken. The earth is drunken by the flesh itself. Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The flesh is drunken. The earth is drunken by the flesh. The things that the flesh make, that's the things that the flesh put up above everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And establish it and make it all high and mighty. The nations have been drunken of her wine. The nations have been drunken of the fleshly nature. That's why the nations perform the way they do, even to this very day. Therefore, the nations are mad. The nations are blind. They like mad men and these straight jackets on. And all of them that abide in the nation uplift themselves in the nation and see these things and just continue to do are mad men. Mad men. Verse 8.
Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed.
Mm-hmm.
We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies.
Mm-hmm.
Yahuwah have brought forth our righteousness. Come, and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahuwah, our El Shaddai.
All right. Verse 8 say, Babylon is suddenly fallen. That means the flesh falling suddenly, don't it? We see that every day. And destroyed. How for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. Right? So the Spirit tries to bring healing to the flesh. Don't we read in the New Testament that the Spirit heal our infirmity?
Mm-hmm.
Don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Verse, right. Verse 9 say, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Now, why is the flesh not healed by the Spirit? Because the flesh don't want to abide in the Spirit. That's why. It says, forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. That means forsake the flesh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leave it there and leave and go into the Spirit. For her judgment, which is the flesh, reaches unto heaven, and it's lifted up even to the skies. Ain't no getting around it. The flesh like to still conceal all the things and why it do what it do. And say, I couldn't help myself. Well, I ain't had no other choice. Right? Mm-hmm. Stop lying. You got a choice. Stop. Mm-hmm. So we're going to read this last verse for the night. We're going to cut this lesson right here. And we're going to come back next Sabbath. But we're going to go to Revelation chapter 18. Revelations 18.
Yeah.
Revelations 18. And we're going to read verse 1 through 24, that's going to be on Sister Bina. Revelations 18, 1 through 24. And we're looking at coming out of Babylon. Babylon is the world, is the flesh. Now so that you do not partake with her destruction. So you got to come out of Babylon, meaning coming out the world, coming out the flesh. So you don't partake with their destruction. You got to do that now. You don't have no time to wait. Revelations 18, and Sister Bina, pick up verse 1.
And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Now
and
notice, the earth is lightened with this glory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the world.
That's right.
Not the world, but the earth is lightened with the glory.
Right.
Go ahead.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of demons, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
I want y'all again to look at that Babylon as the flesh and as the world. It's become a cage for every foul spirit. And Babylon is fallen, I mean, the flesh is fallen. The world is fallen. Verse 3.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
All right, so all the nations drink of the wine of her wrath of fornication, meaning all those that's fleshly partake in the fleshly nature that was cast out in the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. In Genesis. Mm-hmm. And they all committed fornication with Babylon, with the fleshly nature, with the world. Verse 4.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Come out of her, my people. Come out of the flesh. Come out the world, so you don't partake in her destruction. Okay? Go ahead.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahuwah hath remembered her iniquities.
Most High Yahuwah have remembered the iniquity of the flesh, why it came on the fallen ones. Go ahead.
Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double.
Reward the flesh and the world double by leaving it where it's at.
Walk away.
Walk away from it. Verse 7.
How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
Don't the flesh say that? Don't the world say that? It say, how much she have glorified herself? Don't the flesh glorify itself all day long, and even stand in the mirror and glorify itself all day, right? Even the world glorifies itself all day and live deliciously. So much torment the flesh and the world go through, don't it? And sorrow give her. For she hath in her heart, I sit a queen and am above and am no widow and shall see no sorrow.
Because the flesh is a throne.
The flesh is a throne, which calleth is make itself wanted to be the Most High and put itself above all to appear as the Most High. Right? Like you say, Satan want to rise above the clouds and appear and be as the Most High. That's the flesh. That's the flesh. Period. The flesh want to be the Most High. But the spirit can only be the Most High, for it is the spirit that's in the image and likeness of the Most High, not the flesh. It's the spirit. Right? Like you say, bodily exercise profit of nothing, little. But it's the spirit that you make great gain in. Verse 8.
Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall utterly burn with fire. For strong is Yahuwah the Most High, who judgeth her.
All right. So the flesh get death, don't it? The world get death and famine, just as the flesh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the earth and the world shall be utterly burned with fire. It's consumed, isn't it? For strong is Yahuwah, who judgeth her. Because the earth and the world that's created, the flesh and the earth and the world that the flesh create, the Most High will consume and judge. Verse 9.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Mm-hmm. So these kings are recognized as kings of the earth because these kings in this world, they're based upon division of land. Because the earth is the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these kings of the earth, although they mind is of the world, they divide the earth, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
But they commit fornication and live deliciously with the flesh, don't they?
With the flesh.
Verse 10.
Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
Mm-hmm. Now,
And
in 1 hour her judgment comes. Now, this thing here, that's why I always told y'all the fall of the world is the fall of its system. Not the earth burning up, but the system collapsing. That's why I always told y'all when y'all look at movies like the Book of Eli and the Aftermath, it's about the fall of the system, right?
Right.
So now we're getting ready to read this because the scripture going to tell us that it's the fall of the system. But these preachers out here ain't telling you that because they abide in the system.
Right.
Fast.
Yes.
I saw a program on the History Channel just yesterday, and that's exactly what they were doing. They were telling the people that it's going to be the what you said.
Yep.
That we're going to be going caught up and going up and blah, 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 going to be all kinds of, what they call it, explosions and stuff. And I'm sitting there, I said, it's not what Val taught me. Yeah. Okay.
And so now you're going to read. Now we're going to read and see what kind of destruction the earth is getting ready to go through. It's about to tell you right now. So pick it up in verse 7.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
All right. So it says the merchants, that's all the businesses, right? The economy. Right. The economy of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, right? Over the world system, which is based upon the flesh, right? For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. We talking about the fall of the financial system, right? That's the kind of bomb we talking about, the crash of the system. Verse 12.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearl and fine linen and purple
and silk, and scarlet, and all dying wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits of thy soul lusted after are departed from thee. And all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee. Thou shalt find them no more at all.
So we talking about again, all the things, I ain't going to go through the list, just went through the list. John did it as it pertains to his time, but if I was to do it, I've been saying cars and clothes and radios and TV, box and all, telephone. Do you see that? That's all the right. Everything that pertains to the flesh and to commerce, its financial system is going to fall. That's what this is talking about. But these people, these preachers, and they haven't been, for years they haven't told people this, and they talking about they making it appear like in the movie or something.
Apocalypse.
Right. Yep. Where we at, verse what? 15?
15. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city?
So all these shipmasters that, and if we bring it down to today, it's not only the boats, but it's the planes and the trains and the automobiles, okay, on how we get goods and services delivered, right? All that stuff gonna come to a halt. That's what it's telling. Okay, go ahead.
And they cast. Okay, and that's verse 19. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were laid rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate.
So in 1 hour, all the things that man done made over thousands of years by the work of his hands and continue to make is going to come to naught. In 1 hour, it's going to stop and cease. Okay? This is the destruction of man. And as we're looking at this,
we just seeing the stars.
Right. And see, this other thing is, you know what? It might even have been better if it was a bomb just blew up everybody versus this, because when this happened, it's going to spawn all kind of stuff. Madness. You're going to see how beastly man is when this stuff takes place. Okay? You think it's bad now, and you see crime and stuff. Wait till this happens. Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahuwah hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all.
So that great city, he took a stone as a symbol. If you take a stone, a big stone, and you throw it in the water, what it's going to do? Sink to the bottom. Right? And you're not going to see it no more. Right? So this whole system, collapse and fall, has to fall this way in order for the kingdom of the Most High to be established, because the kingdom of the Most High is his world system. That's the real new world system. Okay, that's coming. But you hear these men talking about the new world order, ain't nothing new. Man is still the same as he been back in the day. Ain't nothing new. It's the same, just different players. Okay? So when he talked, this millstone was a symbol of what was gonna happen. This system is gonna break. That's why I always tell y'all, there's money, there's all this stuff that we need as men today. You better learn. Well, I put it like this: if you got faith and obedience and you establish in love, the Most High gonna make it easy for you. Okay? Because when you see a collapse of this system, what is any man gonna do if he abide in the system? What is he gonna do but fall with it?
Fall with it, right?
Right? So that
Or
tells
like
you,
they did in 29, they jumped.
right? Or jump, right? So what that tell you? Where your faith? Where's your patience supposed to be with the Most High? So that tell you this: where is the fleshly man gonna run?
He got no.
He can't run nowhere. You can't run south. You can't run east or west or north. Just
Nowhere
what?
to run and nowhere to hide.
Exactly. Because the system is going to fall everywhere. But if you belong to the Creator, it don't matter where you at. He going to make a place of safety for you. Okay? Just remember that. Well, we at verse what?
We at verse 22.
Go ahead.
And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found in any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee.
So what it's saying is all the concerts and the musics and the movies and the all that kind of stuff and factories and plants and all these different things, commerce, everything, that's going to be over with. No labor, no nothing. Right? But actually what he's doing is he's stripping the earth of the things that man made to take it back to what he established for his purpose anyway, because none of that labor wasn't supposed to be things that his creation had to do. Right. Okay? He's stripping it of that to take it back. Now those that is still trying to hold on to it, they're going to be destroyed by the things that going to get plummeted into the sea. Okay? Where we at, verse what?
23.
Go ahead.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
So what that means is, look, the candle shall no more be at all in thee. That means that all these churches in the world represent candles, right? Supposedly, right? So that means when this collapse happens, you're going to see where all these man-made churches belong to. Because guess what? They're going to be just as in disarray as the rest of the men. Okay? So you ain't going to see no more candle. You ain't going to hear him singing all these spiritual songs. They're going to be looking, what we going to do? I got to eat. I got to do this. I got to do that. What I'm going to do? See, this time is coming. But the watchmen of the world, these false watchmen ain't been blowing the trumpet to tell that this time is coming. Okay? So they can't make the preparation within their own selves to get ready for it. And neither are they going to be identified by the Creator because they abide in the system. Exactly.
Can't prepare their flock because they're false to the start.
Exactly. Can't prepare them. They up there trying to tell you what candidate to vote for. Right?
That's right.
That's what they doing. Verse 24.
And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
All right. So when he bring this on the earth, back when you go and read, I think it's Revelation chapter 7, when they say, how long, O Most High, will you take vengeance on those that have killed us and whatnot. Well, this is it right here. This is where he's about to set it up, and everything that man has made in the world will collapse. Period. So keep that in mind as you keep your connections with things in the world, and remember what you give yourself to. Just understand that promotion comes from the Most High, right? He taketh away one so he can establish another, don't he? Right? He take away one system so he can bring in another system, right? You just got to be willing to receive it. And if you willing, he willing to give it to you, and he going to give it to you without you experiencing all this heartache that everybody else is going to experience. Okay? All right, so thank you, Sister Bina. Good reading. So we're going to pause this lesson right here, and we're going to pick this up next Sabbath.
Did she read the last one?
She read 24, didn't she? Yeah. Mm-hmm. She read the last one. So we're going to pick this up next Sabbath. And, hey, we're going to continue to grow as a family. Understand that this is where our love is. Those that abide, that's obedient, they going to stay and remain. And we done seen many people come, many people go. I'm going to tell you like this. There's a lot of people that I love, but I tell you, out of love, if the person ain't right, we have to walk away, right?
I brought 2 people here that
right.
no longer with us.
Right. So, and it's not that we coming and saying, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. People just, they bounce on their own.
No,
and
I'm sorry, I meant I brought 2 people that have gone on.
Oh, gone left. Right, I got you. Well, what I'm saying is that when a person, whether they leave in the flesh or they leave from this body of understanding, it ain't like we told them you got to hit the door.
No.
They leave, the nature of they self severs it, because it's a double-edged sword that is always constantly spinning, ready to separate the flesh from the spirit, right? Mm-hmm. And it's right there. Mm-hmm. That flesh got to be cut away. So we're going to close with the prayer of the Most High. And we're going to enjoy the rest of our Sabbath as it starts when the sun goes down. All right.
Good lesson.
Praise the Most High. We're going to continue with Matthew. We're going to read the prayer out of Matthew chapter 6. And you can repeat after me. Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
In earth as it is in heaven.
In earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us away from temptation.
And lead us away from temptation.
And deliver us from evil.
And deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom and the power.
For thine is the kingdom and the power.
And the glory forever.
And the glory forever.
In the name of Yahushua, the Messiyah.
In the
name of Yahushua, the Messiyah.
We pray.
We pray.
So be it.
So be it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So we get delivered from this evil, is delivered from this destruction that I just read to y'all. Right. So grace and peace, everybody.
Grace and peace.
All right.